Hello everyone, and I would like to thank first of all the organizing committee for inviting me for this Global Edu-Conclave 2021, which is organized by International Institute of Organized Research, India, in association with ThinkerZ India Center of Modern Construction, Western Sydney University, Australia, Sustainable Cosmos, India, and Professor G.D. Aggarwal Center of Scientific Development and Empowerment, Advocacy, India. So today I will take you to a very brief journey over the title, which goes like this: visualizing the global transformation in the context of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And obviously, I'm extremely glad to be as a keynote speaker in this event. And I hope everyone is fine and is taking care of themselves. So with this, I will start this topic. So to begin with, what we know is that the concept of sustainable development and its 17 goals to transform the world. So we'll be moving and see each and every goal individually and a little bit in detail as well. So there are 3 dimensions of sustainable development to say with. So to understand the things, we can say that the sustainable development has been defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. We'll gradually see what are the needs and how this kind of proposal can help us to meet those needs. Obviously, that includes economic growth, social inclusion, environmental protection, and etc. And obviously, this SDG or Sustainable Development Goals can further be simplified or simply explained with the concept of 5 P's, which goes like people, prosperity, peace, partnership, and planet. Obviously, these 5 key factors together plays a very key role in this sustainable development. And obviously, the first Sustainable Development Summit held in New York City in September 2015, where the global leaders together assemble in the organization on a room to define the concept of sustainable development and together plan that what should be the goal, and gradually that hence develop the further concept of the sustainable development goals, and those goals will be seeing in the next slides as well. So moving forward, if we see that the SDGs is obviously universal. These goals are kind of standardized model, and in every year, like this summit happens in some cities across the globe, generally in USA, where we see that the global leaders assemble together to work with and to think that how it will be implemented across the globe. So SDGs 2 feature is one is it is integrated or indivisible, obviously, and it's transformative. That is, it's transformation towards the development, it's transformation towards the society and also the human being that makes it possible. And obviously, we have made a target of 2030 by which we are aiming to fulfill that. So basically, it's not our aim. This is the aim of the global leaders, those who assemble that I've already explained earlier as well. So now let's see that what are the key implementation or what are the goals and in which way they are thinking can be implemented. So first thing is obviously one of the very key or major factor is no poverty or alleviation of the poverty. So there are lots of plannings, lots of goals are there. Among them, a few is mentioned here. So by 2030, eradicating the extreme poverty of the people everywhere, currently measured as the people living on less than $1.25 a day. Obviously, that's not a kind of healthy status. So we are trying to increase the status by the end of 2030, or maybe by the beginning of the 2030. So by 2030 also reduce at least by the half of the proportion of the men and women and children of all ages living in the poverty, all its dimension according to the national definition. So obviously our aim is to alleviate the living standard of the people, those who are falling below the poverty line. So we are trying to take them as many as maximum population can be taken out of them, so that we can provide them a better livelihood. The second goal talks about one of the again important topic is that ending of the hunger, and to achieve the food security as well, and to improve nutrition. Obviously we know that the death rate or the kind of malnutrition rate across the globe, especially in the third world countries, are one matter of concern, and every year we see a good amount of basically children and other people also dying for that. And so that's why one of the goal, like it says, like by 2030, end of all forms of malnutrition, including achieving by 2025 as well, the internationally agreed targets on stunning and wasting in children under 5 years of age, and address the nutrition needs of adolescent girls, pregnant women, and also lactating women and older person as well. So basically we are targeting a good amount of people who are in a kind of danger zone, so that we can make them out of that situation. So next goal again talk about similar kind of related things, that is good health. So obviously whenever we are talking about malnutrition, alleviation of the malnutrition, so by mean of that we are ensuring a healthy lives and promote a well-being to all the ages as well. So basically view are the statistics are given, and the aim also corresponding to like what they're targeting to get, or the SDGs goals are targeting to get by 2030, like ending of the preventable deaths of newborns and the children under 5 years of age, with the countries aiming to reduce neonatal mortality to at least as low as 12 per 1,000 live births, and under 5 mortality to at least as low as 25 per 1,000 live births. So obviously we are trying to improve the healthcare sector in simple way. So obviously like few of the epidemics or the brutal or kind of fatal diseases are also the matter of concern as well, where we'll trying to alleviate those as well by awareness and also by improving the healthcare sector as well. So the next is another important thing is the quality of education. So that's the again one of the key factors. So how to improve that, and the entire world is struggling right now, especially in this COVID situation. This quality of education has been hampered, and so that's why it's there in the 4th position, is one of the goal of the SDGs. The 5th goal talks about the gender equality. That's a kind of issue in a kind of global in a kind of global discussion, a global platform. This has been dealt with. So obviously we know that many people in rural region, or especially girl childs, are not getting that much of right to education, right of to getting the opportunities. So that's why it's important to give them the opportunity that will also further support the concept of gender equality. Clean water and sanitation comes in the sixth goal of that. So obviously we need to ensure that the water is pure enough, and obviously there should not be any kind of health hazards. Obviously we are trying to reduce the kind of waterborne diseases and also the materials or chemicals that are there that sometimes populate the water. So we need to remove that as well. So the seventh goal talks about the access and the affordability of the reliable and sustainable modern energy. So obviously we are looking forward to the global energy or regarding the the eco-friendly energy. We like if I say, as because we know that the resources of the energies that fall out of the biological bound is decreasing day by day. So that's why we are looking for to keep them in a certain level, so that we can restore the kind of artificial energies and make the biological energy make the use of the biological energy as high as possible so that we can sustain for the longer amount of time. The seventh goal, promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth and employment as well. So obviously with the increasing education and the right to education that I have already discussed as one of the earlier goals, we need to create the employment and also different techno-economic and opportunities for the youth as well as the students to flourish in their life. We are they're targeting to achieve higher levels of economic productivity through diversification, technological upgradation, and innovation as well. So obviously, to promote this kind of development needs proper channelization of the policies and different kind of rules and regulation as well that will be governed by this body. So the 7 goals talks about build resilience infrastructure to promote sustainable industrialization. So obviously it relates with the previous thing that whenever we are saying to develop or open the opportunities of different kind of educational as well as industrial sector for the students as well as the youth of the nations of any country. So that needs proper building of the industry, educational institutions, and other scope of opportunities so that they can use their skills and join there and they can together make some kind of global impact. And obviously one of the goals says like to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization by the end of 2030. So obviously this is another goal that may also drives us to bring the energy fifth or maybe sixth revolution. So currently we are in the 4th revolution of the industry. So we'll be seeing the higher upgradation of the industry soon. So the 10th goal talks about the reduce inequality within among the countries. So obviously there are lots of partialities or due to kind of lack of resources, there are kind of barriers are there, invisible barriers we can say that they are in between the first and second or third world countries. So obviously we'll be trying like this, the SDG is trying to promote that as well so that the barriers can be broken and we can observe a global development. So this, the 11th goal talks about the cities or inclusive the safe and resilient and sustainable development. So obviously security is a important concern here. Communication as well in between the various countries and cities. So by one of the points it says like by 2030 provide access to safe, affordable, accessible and sustainable transport systems for all their, it's also aiming improving road safety, notably by expanding public transport with special attention the needs of those in the vulnerable situation, unlike women, child, etc. So safety and security, we can say, is the primary concern here. Moving forward to the next goal, which talks about the sustainable consumption of the production pattern. So obviously, whenever we are talking about the production of multiple equipment or industrialistic resources, so obviously consumption is one of the concerns. So we have to be responsible enough to consume the product in an optimal way. So that's why one of the points says that by 2030, half per capita global food waste at the retailer and the consumer levels will be reduced so that the minimum loss of the food is there. And also one of the goal is to achieve the environmentally sound management of chemicals and waste, obviously waste of the food or that may be a kind of excess amount of consumable, so that we can reduce the excess amount so that it can be used by all the people or more people. So the third goal is the climate action. That's one of the very key and important aspects. So the climate action is basically to restore the climate change. Right? So we are in a kind of global warming situation, and we need the implantation of trees, and also that we have to restore our natural sanctuary. We have to restore our greeneries across the globe so that these climate actions can be under our threshold as well, under our under our operation as well. So obviously we need to think of that. So the fourth is a similar thing that as we have seen inside the climate, this life below the water means conservation and the sustainability of use of the ocean, seas, marine resources. This might primarily falls under the environment category. Similarly, life on the land as well, as I said in the previous slide. So sustainability by managing the forest, combat desertification, halt and reserve land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. So these things are the key features that falls under goal 15. So the second last goal is a kind of promoting humanity inside the society, with a justice, peaceful and inclusive society. So these are kind of that we are a social animal, we are, and we need to think of this kind of key aspects so that we can live happily and we can give a better future to our children as well. So that's why it's one of the extremely important key feature of our living being, and that is why it comes in the 16th goal, one of the 16 goals actually. So yeah, so one of the reducing corruptions and developing effective, accountable and transparent institutions at all levels, etc., are one of the key features of this goal. And obviously, last but not the least is revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So we need to strengthen the domestic resources, including the international support and developing countries, and to improve domestic capacity of tax and other revenue collection. So basically, techno-economic aspect is considered in this section. So that's also help us for growth of the nation. So basically, retaining something is not a solution at all unless we use it for the further development. So this goal 17 primarily focus on this. So this total 17 goals together form the aspect of the sustainable global development, which is the UN's 2013 objective as well. So with this, we comes to an end, and basically for the resources, I'm it's taken from here. So for any detailed analysis, understanding, you can go through this, Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The UN official languages is available in many languages, so you can go through it. It's open source available, the net. So with this, thank you, and I'd like to say stay safe, take care of yourself and your beloved one, get vaccinated. And for any queries and further discussion, I'll be happy to deal with you and to discuss with you these things. So these are my contact details. And I'd like to again thank the Green Thinker Society and iTour India for giving me this chance, for sharing my views, and also to inviting me as well. So with this, I'd like to conclude, and all the very best for the rest of the session. Thank you.